Every morning at 6:30, Harold Thompson shuffled into his kitchen, the floor tiles cool against his feet, the kettle already whistling from its automatic timer. At 68, he was a creature of habit. Oatmeal with a splash of milk, two boiled eggs, and black coffee. It wasn't fancy, but it filled him up. Still, something had been nagging him for the past couple of years. A quiet, embarrassing truth he'd rather not say out loud. Things down there weren't quite working the way they used to. Harold wasn't alone. Conversations at the golf course, hushed and cautious, revealed he was one of many men in their 60s noticing similar issues. Weaker circulation, slower response, less confidence. They'd all chalked it up to aging. But Harold wasn't ready to surrender to time just yet. It was one of those sleepless nights that pushed him to search for answers. He found himself reading articles, journals, and nutrition blogs well past midnight. He dismissed the loud, flashy advertisements, scrolling instead through science-backed resources. One phrase kept popping up in his search: nitric oxide. Apparently, this compound was key to improving blood flow. As men aged, their bodies naturally produced less of it, and without enough nitric oxide, circulation suffered, including the one area Harold had grown increasingly concerned about. Foods rich in nitrates, flavonoids, and L-arginine could support nitric oxide production, especially first thing in the morning. Intrigued, Harold took notes, cross-referenced sources, and made a list. The very next morning, he changed his routine. Gone were the eggs and oatmeal. In their place, a smoothie. Not just any smoothie, though, a carefully crafted breakfast designed for one purpose. Into the blender went a handful of spinach, half a cooked beet, a banana for sweetness, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, some walnuts, and a dash of cacao powder. He added a splash of pomegranate juice, known for its vascular benefits, and blended it all with cold water and ice. The result was deep red, slightly earthy, and surprisingly delicious. The science was simple. Spinach and beets are loaded with dietary nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide. Pomegranate juice helps widen blood vessels and improve flow. Walnuts are rich in L-arginine, which also supports nitric oxide production. Dark cacao contains flavonoids that protect nitric oxide in the bloodstream. And Greek yogurt offered probiotics, tying gut health to hormone balance. Harold drank it every morning. At first, he noticed subtle changes. A bit more energy during his morning walks, quicker recoveries after workouts. After a couple of weeks, his wife Linda even commented that he seemed in better spirits. But the real test came one Saturday night when they were out at a friend's anniversary dinner. Nothing special had happened, no romance planned, but when they got home and settled into bed, something sparked. It wasn't like being 25 again. Harold didn't expect that. But things worked. More naturally. More confidently. He didn't say anything right away. Just lay there, quietly grateful. Linda rolled over, smiling. Whatever you're doing lately, keep doing it. That was all the confirmation he needed. From then on, the smoothie became non-negotiable. Harold shared it with a few friends, cautiously at first, testing the waters. To his surprise, they were eager to try it. Jim, who just turned 70, said after 2 weeks he felt more alive. Bill, a retired contractor with diabetes, swore his energy had doubled. Even quiet Ron, who rarely spoke about anything personal, pulled Harold aside one afternoon. "That smoothie of yours?" he said with a rare grin. "It's a game changer." They started calling it the morning fix. It became something of a quiet tradition among the guys, part health strategy, part male camaraderie. Of course, no one talked openly about the bedroom benefits, but their knowing smiles and heartier laughs said enough. A year passed, and Harold looked in the mirror one morning. He saw the same gray hair, the same lines around his eyes, but he felt different, stronger, more in control, and not just physically. Something about that daily routine, the discipline, the conscious investment in his health had shifted his mindset. It wasn't just about blood flow anymore. It was about reclaiming power in an age where men are often told to sit back and fade quietly. Harold wasn't interested in fading. At his next checkup, his doctor raised an eyebrow. "Your numbers look great. Blood pressure's down, HDL's up. You've lost a few pounds. What changed?" Harold smiled. "Just changed my breakfast." By now, he'd fine-tuned the recipe. 1 handful fresh spinach, half-cooked beet, peeled and cooled, half banana. 1 tablespoon cacao powder, unsweetened, 1 tablespoon Greek yogurt, 5 to 6 walnuts, half cup pomegranate juice, half cup cold water, ice cubes. Blend until smooth. Drink immediately. It took 5 minutes to prepare, but set the tone for his entire day. Men over 60, he realized, didn't need miracle pills or extreme diets. They needed information, intention, and small, consistent habits. He started a blog, just a simple one-page site where he shared the smoothie recipe, links to clinical studies, and stories from men like him. He called it The Morning Flow. To his surprise, it took off. Messages came in from across the country. Men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, some skeptical, some desperate, and all of them hopeful. Harold responded to every message personally. He wasn't a doctor, and he made that clear. But he was a man who'd tried something that worked and wanted others to benefit too. He always ended his posts the same way. You don't need to surrender your strength to age. You just need to start with breakfast. Now, every morning at 6:30, the blender roared in Harold's kitchen. The floor tiles were still cool, but something inside him had shifted. A sense of purpose, power, and yes, a bit of pride. Because when you find a way to restore circulation and confidence with a few simple ingredients, you realize that growing older doesn't mean giving up. It just means getting smarter.